Good to see you on your feet again. Welcome to the bridge, the nerve center of our operation. The aliens have our entire world in their grip. Advent controls everything. Government, communications, industry, not to mention the military. And it's on us to take it all back. Resources and time are tight, Commander. It'll be up to you to decide how to best use both. The ship is yours.
Hello everyone, I'm here taking a look at the sequel to XCOM Enemy Unknown, XCOM 2. I just recently completed this game. It took me around 32 hours. I only had to restart the game once because I fucked up. Now, setting aside my own personal retardation for a moment, I had a few thoughts I wanted to share about this game, and in the process, hopefully trying to clear your mind up about if the game is actually worth having. Now, even though I enjoyed my time with this game a lot, and I'm actually in the process of playing through it a second time, just for the hell of it, I do have a few major gripes that I think are worth bringing up when actually judging this game for what it is. Now, before we get all negative and start nitpicking and start criticizing a lot, I just want to say that this game is really, really good. Despite all the flaws it has, it's a really well-made game, and it's definitely an improvement to the last game, which I also really enjoyed. This game basically adds a lot of content that just adds and builds upon what they set up in the previous games, and they build it in a way that if you play the previous games, you're still gonna be surprised at what you find in this game. This is especially true when talking enemy design and level design. Given the fact that it's been 20 years since the original XCOM project failed and the aliens took over the Earth, you'll now be fighting in futuristic cities against enemies that weren't part of the original invasion. These changes give way to a whole new array of situations and strategies that you wouldn't encounter in XCOM Enemy Unknown, which is a good thing. The game feels different because of this. Now, I do have a problem with a few of the enemies in the game and a few of the abilities they have, but we'll get to that later. With the new game also comes new classes and new weapons for your soldiers. These classes all have branching skill trees, and they really, really help to add an extra layer of mechanical depth and strategy to an already good game. Now, as in XCOM Enemy Unknown, there's also a ton of visual customizations for your soldiers. You can customize their face, their race, where they come from, how they talk, if they have a cigar in their mouth or not. That's actually a real thing. What hat they wear, what scars they have, what tattoos they have, what color that is. In this game, you can even customize the pattern of your soldier's armor, the color, if they have arm protection or not. All these customizable options really help add to the pain and agony you feel when one of your favorite soldiers gets killed. You had named them after your best friend, you'd customize him just perfectly, and he gets killed. Now all of a sudden it's personal, and that is what these mechanics and these customization options helps to do. It helps to personalize your run and what experience you had with XCOM. These experiences are really a central part of what XCOM is, to me at least. I could keep going on about how this game has improved drastically from its predecessor, how it's just better in nearly every way, but before I get too positive, I actually want to get into the meat of what I think about this game, and in order to do that, I'll have to get negative for a while, or at least criticize the game. This game has a bunch of problems that I would describe as inexcusable, that are either just silly decisions or things I can find no reason for existing. Now, to begin with, let's talk about the motherfucking teleporting enemies. I have no clue how a designer took a look at enemies that can teleport and fire in the same round and said, that's balanced, that works, no problem there, let's just keep going with the game. I might sound a bit angry about this, and it's because I've been fucked over so many times by these enemies in the game, and it feels so cheap. And in a game where death counts for so much, and you don't want to lose anyone, it's just really stupid that there's an enemy that can actually teleport and fire and kill one of your troops in the same round. I might not be explaining this properly, but think about this. There's an enemy in front of your defensive line. He can teleport behind all your troops, flank them, and gaining a bonus damage percent for this, and then shoot them in the back in the same round. Now, it gets even worse than this, because this enemy, I don't want to spoil what it's called, how it looks, but this enemy can also clone itself every time you shoot it. If you shoot it and don't kill it in one hit, it instantly clones itself and teleports a clone somewhere else on the map. So basically, you have an enemy that keeps expanding all over the map and can teleport everywhere, and you have to kill every single one of those clones to actually finish it off. Add to the fact that there's way more timed missions in this game, meaning missions where you only have a certain amount of time to finish off what you're supposed to do, where you have to get somewhere, or where you have to achieve your goal before the timer runs out. It's infuriating when you can't move on because there's an enemy that just keeps cloning itself and teleporting to stupid places. There's literally no way to actually properly prepare for this enemy. When it comes out, you basically just have to pray that you can kill it fast, because if you don't, it's stupidly strong. Now, and later in the game, it's not so much of a problem because you have stronger guns, right? You can kill it in one shot with pretty much every weapon in the game. But that's where they start throwing several of these guys at you at the same time, meaning that 2 or 3 enemies at the same time can teleport and kill you. Even worse than that, later on in the game, there's an enemy that is literally a version of this same enemy, except it can't clone itself, but it has a mind control and mind storm, which is an ability that disables all the guns in an area and then blows it up after one turn. This is an even stronger enemy that cannot be killed in one shot, and it can teleport and mind control. Now, I'm willing to forgive this stronger enemy simply because it's not an enemy that you see too often. You only see it on a few occasions, and when you see it, you generally have better means to deal with it. But it's still inexcusable that teleporting behind enemy lines and shooting in the same turn is even a thing in this game. It makes it impossible to strategize in a strategy game. Now, from a thing that makes me angry, let's go to a thing that just kinda annoys me a lot. This game is not incredibly well optimized, and I'm not 100% sure if this is actually due to there not being released drivers for it yet, or just because the game had to up the graphical fidelity in order to have a proper sequel. Now, luckily it is a strategy game, so it doesn't depend a whole lot on running at 60 FPS constantly, but it's still annoying when it drops below 30 FPS, and it drops kind of a lot. I don't even want to imagine how it runs on low-end PCs. It's just inexcusable. That's what it is. Please, for the love of God, fix your game. Besides bad optimization and horribly overpowered enemies, I want to talk a bit about the balance in the early game. Talking specifically about the first few missions here. As someone smarter than me said, it's an exercise in frustration, because you face enemies that can pretty much one-shot you if you're not careful. And you don't go into the game expecting that, and it's really annoying in a game where death means so much. You could lose one of the guys you just customize, as we talked about before, one of the guys you just customize as your best friend, because an enemy happens to just be very strong in the first round of the first mission. Now, this is not a huge problem for me, as I kind of see why they did it. They wanted to put the players into the mindset of you have to be careful, and if you're not careful, you're gonna die. But it just doesn't seem too good to put that just in the beginning of the game. It also seems, additionally, that the AI has been upgraded a lot since the last game, at least on normal difficulty. Now, before this video gets way too long, I just want to get back to the main point. Is this game worth having? Would I recommend it personally? And I would say if you can push through the bad optimization, the bullshit enemies, the small nitpicks and problems I have, I would say give it a shot. If absolutely nothing I've said has made you go, well, I don't want to play it then, it sounds awful, what a shitty game, then go to Steam, go buy it, go play it. And even if you don't want to play full price, wait a year and then buy it on sale. Basically, I would say, in general, if you have the money, I would say XCOM 2 is worth your time. Now, if you actually managed to stay with me for the entire video up until this point, I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in my next video.